Welcome to Narratives Leadership Story Talks, where great leaders go beyond the bottom line to create lasting impact. Join hosts Jerome Deroy and Julienne Ryan as they uncover the stories behind real-world challenges, offering practical insights to help you lead with empathy, authenticity, and purpose. Each episode dives into how leaders use storytelling to build trust, foster connection, and inspire action. Whether you're navigating workplace dynamics, driving change, or building high-performing teams.
Well, there is science to because I know the plot twist in all of this is the person who really comes out ahead in this whole transaction is the letter writer, the note writer. Because handwriting, whether you're journaling or writing a letter, it releases some endorphin in your brain that cannot be released any other way. And I think it changes our thought process. It slows it down, and it is a more intentional act, and I think that, certainly on that side of the transaction, I can say this because I've experienced it so many times, it releases something in you that can't be released otherwise. I think some of it's perspective. If you're writing to another person, you look at them differently, you see them differently, and you see yourself as the bearer of goodwill, which changes everything.
Welcome to Leadership Story Talks. We just heard from Amy Daughters talking about the value of handwriting and how that creates a different relationship with whoever you're writing the letter to. And I know we had some thoughts about that, and maybe you can kick us off.
Of course. Now, by full disclosure, I have terrible handwriting, but I love the fact that writing a note to somebody is personal, and it shows that you exerted effort, and there is a whole group of behaviors that go with it that validates that you had to write it, post it, make sure you get a stamp, and it's just thoughtful. So I think that's the start, and it's exciting because we all have emails. We have thousands of emails during a week, and now to open your mailbox, your real mailbox, and see that somebody sent you something and was very thoughtful is awesome. And I just, my word is effort and take time, which is the cornerstone of all good communication. So I'm interested in getting your thoughts on this.
Yeah. It's, well, what caught my attention was the idea that writing or handwriting something to someone else, taking the time to do that, it slows things down, obviously, in the act of doing it. But what she was talking about was also that it actually slows you down. It slows your brain down. It's almost like hitting that pause button, and it becomes a very intentional act. And as you know, and as our listeners know, we use that word a lot, intention, and we do things with intention. And so I think, to me, the link I was thinking about was the link with storytelling and what we do, on a day-to-day basis, and what we do with clients is I think there's that similar process of slowing things down so that you can actually see the bigger picture, and you can create an intention that is not about you, actually, and it's really about the other person. And that's kind of the connection I was seeing with these handwritten letters, is that you're not thinking about yourself when you're writing that letter. You're thinking about the other person, and all the kind things that you're writing in that letter about them. It forces you to do that. And I think with storytelling, and what we encourage people to do, is to really take that step back. And yes, you're looking at your life, which is very introspective. And a lot of times people feel like that's self-centered. But actually, the reason that we're asking you to look into your own life and your own experiences is so that you can relate to someone else, and you can connect with them. And I think in that sense, there's a really strong relationship between what Amy was talking about and what we do at Narrative with stories, because it's always about the other person. And it's counterintuitive because we get so many people who say, but I don't really like talking about myself. Am I going to be bragging? I don't want to self-promote, or I don't want to sound salesy. And within 20 minutes of talking with them, they're like, oh, right. Yeah, that's not about me. That's totally about someone else. And it's about, my eye is actually not on me and trying to brag about something, but rather it's finding the details in my own life experience that are going to relate to someone else, so that they feel included in the conversation I'm trying to have with them. And that's a totally different way of looking at it.
You're offering a bridge of words, and it starts with ourselves, and you're passing that forward, and it helps connect that person, and it just starts the conversation in a whole different way. But wasn't that beautiful that he talks and shows how if we can show somebody else that their impact on us mattered in small and big ways, and that we were thinking about them behind their back, that's incredible. That's who wouldn't appreciate that? And maybe we need to get into a little note writing campaign among all of us that's listening to, and try it out and see what the effects are. I've known some wonderful people in my work world and personal world that use that as just a habit, and it makes such a difference. It makes such a difference in how they relate to others, and vice versa.
Absolutely. I still have handwritten notes from at least 10 years ago that were given to me from people who've done our workshops. And, those are the ones that I keep because, most people send an email or that sort of thing. And it's somewhere in my email, but I've got this tangible thing that I can touch. And I think that's what, and I can see it and I can feel it. And then of course it takes me back to that experience and that person.
Mm-hmm.
And just a little anecdote. Every year I receive, and I look forward to receiving, a New Year wishes letter, and it's clearly everyone on that person's mailing list gets the same thing. It's typed up. There's a picture. Everybody gets these, and if you're like me, maybe you send one out, yourself. But it's pro forma, and everyone gets the same thing. But this person, what she does is that she makes me feel very seen and very unique in all the people because she handwrites not just her name and her signature, but a little note that goes with it. And that's unique to me and my circumstances and my family. And that note changes every year. So I know she's not writing the same note to everybody.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference too, because I think a lot of people might think, well, let's send a company-wide,
Mm-hmm.
one of those notes that looks like it's handwritten, because you can do that too. And your signature is just stamped on it. And of course, it's very efficient. It's very effective. And you've thought of what's going to go into that. But that little handwritten piece, it makes that world of difference. And even, it doesn't have to be much. I think that's what I appreciated about that interview with Amy. Is that much like us, it's not rocket science. It's, however intimidated you feel by the process that you're about to enter into, the outcome of it is such a simple and effective thing that, I really encourage to try this, just like what you said, just send out a note and see what that does for you.
But I also, behind my door here, on my closet in my office, there's a bulletin board with a bunch of push pins hanging onto notes that are really important about presentation or just somebody expressing gratitude. So anybody who's given me those, I keep them. I'm a big hold on to it because it just gives you something to smile about, and a lot of times that's what we need. So, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for sharing your thoughts on that with me, Julienne. And yeah, listeners, I hope that you take that little action away and try this out after you listen to this. And I also want to remind people that if you go to our website, narrative.com and arativ.com, you'll see our entire archive of more than 140 episodes. And please leave a review wherever you find your podcasts, and that really gets the word of mouth going. So I really want to encourage everyone to do that so that everyone can get these insights and listen to interviews like the ones we did with Amy.
All right. We look forward to you giving us some feedback of what you did and how it changed things with your note writing. So thanks. Do share.
Thanks so much. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
For more information on the narrative listening and storytelling method and how it can help your business, go to narrative.com.